Hey there, Darkstar here. We got some new planes to play with, and we're gonna give it a shot. So this is the ATR 72-600. Comes in the Aviator package. Let's see. And I was hoping to do a quick flight, which may prove to be a problem because I don't know this plane real well yet. But from Montrose down to Telluride, which is K-Tex, which is not in Texas, oddly enough. I think, so unfortunately all of the Aviator package planes seem to be the 2020 versions only. I don't think there's any way to get in the plane from the outside. Yeah, just see. So what you can do once you're in the plane, see if we can load things. Exceeds our takeoff weight by like a whole lot. What? Why? So this doesn't seem to work very well, or I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I've never got this to fill anything out. I don't know, maybe you... No, I don't see any way to enter anything either. So what you can do, you can turn on external power here, you can change these things, you can open the doors. We'll leave the tail prop off, service door, and we'll take a little look around outside. So there's our loading door. So passengers would come up through here and then enter over there. It leaves the labels on here. They're part of the texture that doesn't move with the door. There's kind of this rear service door. There's a little peg leg that comes down here. Maybe, I think it's right here actually. That props up the tail. And then that, I believe it's the service door. So we will close the doors up. Okay, it does have these like quick options, and I do have trouble getting this going. There's a bug, I think, with the prop brake, and I'm honestly not sure if prop brake is supposed to be on or off. I thought it was supposed to be off. Well, if we get our ground power units here, we can, I think, turn on our battery. And then we can bring on the external power. And that'll get things started for us, I believe. Not the engines, but I mean the process. All right, we'll want our beacon on for starting the engine. Let's let our avionics come up. I do like how this comes up first over here and then switches. Okay. There are door lights, I believe. Let's just check it. Like if there's a cargo door open. Yes. Cool. So we'd want to check our lights and make sure nothing's open that shouldn't be before we start. Okay, probes, windshield will get on once we get started. We want to get our passenger lights on. And do we need a pushback here? I don't think we do from where we are. Okay. So these don't seem to work for me, but let's get our fuel shut off to auto, I believe. We're starting. And then we want to get a starter on both A and B. We want to get the fuel on, and then I think we can start. So let's see if that's going to start our right engine. That does not appear to have done it. Oh, okay. Sounds better. Funny how the shadows come and go. Alright, we'll get left fuel pump on. Start left engine. Okay, come on. Now there's something about you shouldn't start your taxi until these stabilize at some value. I think it was supposed to be higher than 70, but the other thing is we might want okay, well they're all started and stable now. Let's see, I think now we turn this off and these should come on. We're gonna want to do this in a minute. tell the ground power units to they can go. We'll go ahead and remove the chocks. Probably should have done that before we started the engines, not sure, but and one thing it does is it auto closes these, so if you open them and come back, it'll be yeah, auto closed, reopened when I clicked it. All right, we got fuel going. Let's go ahead and get taxi on. Wing lights we don't need. These should have been armed earlier. And we'll want to get these on. I think that's it for the overhead panel for now until we're ready to take off. Now, these panels up here, I believe, are controlled from here. So if we go, oh no, it's crashing. Oh, come on. Wouldn't be Microsoft Flight Simulator without crashing. I don't think it's because I clicked that button, but you never know. At least this is smoother now. I hated watching this one, it was all jerky. Well, I'm rather inclined to start on the end of the runway because we had it all set up and loaded. We'll call this taxiing time, methinks. Oh, goodness. Okay. We should still be in the ATR, and I have no idea where we were going. It's in Briefwood, though. KMTJ. To KTX. I don't think we want 27, we want 9. Not that it matters, we're going to override that anyway. Hope this loads. coming up. It didn't seem to change much. Okay, flaps are set. Parking brake. One thing you can do, you could hold this to do a takeoff check. So we're clear. So at least as far as it knows, we're good to take off. So a couple of meta things here. One is, if you go, well, let's start with maintenance, since that's the next tab. There is an oxygen tank. I think it's up here, actually. Let's see. Ah, here it is. So you turn on and off oxygen supply here. And this oxygen tank indicator is refilled with like O2, refill O2. So I think we're okay on that. The other thing is, well, first there's some settings you can do here. And one is throttle setup, and another one is there's some stuff over here. So just note that. And in your throttle setup, like I had a hard time getting it set up right. It didn't work with my Honeycomb Bravo, kind of out of the box. So I think when you first start off, it'll be single axis. I changed it to dual axis. I don't have a reverser axis per se on the Bravo. It's a button. So then what you do is you set your throttle to various points. And you click set. Just that idle point. Whatever point you want on the throttle is notch, which I believe is the white part. And then there's ramp, which is almost all the way max here. And then for some reason you can't change max or full reverse. So I also lowered my idle tolerance down, so I don't have to move as much before it jumps up. I'll show you what that looks like. Hopefully the brakes are on. So when I first start moving my throttle, I'm moving it now, it'll jump out of ground idle at some point. There we go. So between that point That's like the minimum I can go. Flight idle would be here. It's just some random point on my throttle. And then as I move up, it jumps to that point. So that's the notch. And it's just some arbitrary point in my throttle where I happen to click set or notch. It's just there. And then as I get closer to that ramp, it'll jump up into it. I think that was it right there. And then that's max. So right there, that's ramp, notch, go through here, and then back to ground idle. So by setting your throttle in various positions, clicking set here, it'll make those set points. Now you can make these tolerances larger, so it'll have like a bigger jump, but it comes with 250s, and I just changed this one to 100 because that worked, and it let me set a lower throttle. I don't know that it really matters, to be honest, but it's just what I did. So you've got these buttons down here, like proc menu, main del. These are also, oh yeah, what I wanted to show was, I think over here, click spot overlay. So if I point here now, you won't see anything. That's how it comes, and if you check click spot overlay, then you'll get these little indicators on your screen here of what's gonna happen when you click in that position. Now the real ones are not touchscreens, these are convenience because they're down here, right? But these are the buttons, like bearing, we'll see those over here, right? This is bearing. I can also click it down here. Watch it crash. Let's see, bearing 2. Okay, switching, right? So you can either click the real buttons down here, and this is the format switch, and there is a way to change the format up here. I don't remember where it is, but if you're having trouble finding those spots, you can also display the click spot help, and it shows them on here. Okay. Let's hide this for a minute. So, it doesn't seem to work when that's up. That's kind of interesting. Okay, but so if we click here, oh yeah, it's not working. Those are working. Why is that not working? It was working. Well, while I'm right here, one thing you can do, you can swap these displays around with that button. This is your target speed, auto manual. If you put it in manual, you can use this to change your target speeds. Barometer setting, push for standard, decision altitude or MDA, you can switch between, and then you can drag this around to set your setting for that. You can drop your compass down here. Power management, takeoff, maximum continuous torque, climb, and cruise. Although the power in this thing is really weird, it's like I don't know. I don't think it's a super realistic flight model. It's very easy to keep it at a reasonable speed when you're on your approach, like too easy. Just a guess. So other than this, you know, most of the autopilot's up here. I couldn't get course to change. So I don't know. Heading, you can right-click to sync with your current heading. So if I move it over here and then right-click it, it'll be runway heading again, or you know, whatever way we're heading. Nav source, FMS would also be like GPS or localizer. And this one tends to be on FMS2 and this one's on FMS1. Altitude select, obviously. Autopilot yaw dampener. No auto throttle. So it's manual throttle. Let's see what else. Oh, one kind of, I mean, if you're using these like as touchscreens, even though they're technically not, oh, one thing we want to do, we want to get our radar on standby here. I don't know if tilt does anything, honestly. I suspect it does not. We'll see, because I think Flight Sim 2024 doesn't support that kind of weather radar. It just gives you a sort of a look ahead. Okay. These ones. So you can swap here. You can enter down here. If you go nav, there's multiple nav tabs. You can click on them up here, or you can cycle through up here. It doesn't seem to remember this one, but you can set it to there we go, terrain mode. You can click on if you want to see airports or nav aids. It does have synthetic vision. It will come off. You can turn it on. And then your ILS. It has an auto mode. I'm guessing that's based on the flight plan. It does have a funky flight management system. Oh, one other mode. Your transponder and everything would be here. And DCAC's pretty much automatic, but this is where you would change your transponder. You go to surveillance, transponders, and that. Com. This reminds me a lot of the flight management system in the SOP 340. It's that UNS-1. I don't know if that's what that is, what this one is, but it very much reminds me of it. But so we've got oh, you could probably set transponder here as well. I had not seen that. is RMS. Okay, but we go flight plan. So I sync the flight plan over, so we've got part of a flight plan, but we don't have any SIDS or stars or anything yet. So I believe you select what you want. And then I think we're on 17, right? Yep, 17. We'll do brick. KTEX, click that. We will do let's do RNAV 09 Mike. I don't think it has any extra information. You can select or it would be on there. Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay, because it's hold. So I have no idea what this is going to be. We'll see. But we can bring up so I think we had a couple of other items in our route here. No, not really. I think I'm okay not having these points. Okay, so takeoff briefing is going to be takeoff, climb out, head over to ETL, which is a VOR that's right here, and then route into KTEX following the RNAV. I believe at KTEX the RNAV cuts off before it actually gets you down to the runway, so you kind of got to finish that visual. Let's go ahead and bring up the chart, maybe? Gonna let us? That is not the right one. So we want to import from SimBrief, the next one. There we go. I do believe this can enter airways. We probably could have entered this airway, I'm not sure. My guess is that's why SimBrief had a point here. You can also enter these manually if we know where it is. I think it's right before ETL the first time. Oh, you know what? We picked a departure, actually. I don't know which one. Brick 4, I guess? That one? Goes brick, J and C. So this would transition J and C. So brick 4, ETL, and then we want to pick our approach. There's no arrivals. Not doing localizer, right? RNAV mic. So there's our current plan in here, and then let's make sure we have the charts pin that we're going to want to use. So we're doing, this doesn't have an RNAV mic chart. Maybe we should not use it. Let's try Yankee 9 maybe? Can we change this one? Be able to change it. Try Yankee. Okay, we pinned Yankee here. Now we need to go to our flight and change. Okay, to Setma. I think that agrees with what we got here, and then on down to the runway. Okay, and we want to be 13,000 at Setma. And then a 3.7 degree slope down to the runway. And our mist, we will be, I think, LP, so we'll call it 115,000. That might be rough to enter here. And I guess, are we doing an MDA or a DA? They're different. One's a decision height and one's a minimum descent altitude. I think a DH, you're supposed to go around at the point you reach it, and an MDA, you fly down to that level and fly ahead until you reach the missed approach point. I can't remember what that was. Okay, so around here, 11500. Oh, way too far. This is better than the Boeing one. Okay. We'll do MDA, so we'll fly down to 11500 and then we will make sure we have runway in sight. I don't think it should be a problem today. It looks pretty clear out here. Pretty sure I have live weather. I don't think I have live time. Maybe I do. In which case we better get out of here soon or it's going to be dark. Okay, gust lock is off. Flight controls are good. We got our transponder. We don't need boost. Airflow, normal, cabin crew, engine bleed, external lights are on. I don't know what those are. Now if we go, so if you go, so there's an up button and a down button. We can go down and then we can select. And we can do like before takeoff. I think we just went through all those, right? I wish you could go to the next procedure from that, but I think I roughly have it here. Okay, I'm going to seek our heading. We're going to go heading mode. Automatically selected 120 is our altitude there. Now one thing I'm going to do that I often don't is you can hold down right Alt, and if it has a big plus sign you can pop that out. So like I can pop this out. Unfortunately it does not pop out the buttons. Some of them do, this one does not. So that's not very useful, unless I just want to see the data. But I can pop this out, and then I have an extra window on the side where I can see my info a little more clearly. I'm not looking at it. All right, we got all our lights on. We don't need wing light on. Everything else is on. The gust lock, it is off. I think that's pretty much all the setup about the plane that I've learned so far. Hopefully someone might find that useful. Brake off. We are holding the brakes. Make sure our engines are coming up and that our brakes are working. Slowly increase the throttle. Rolling. Does not seem to be accelerating very quickly though. Airspeed is alive. And we do need that max boost. Oh, it's not working. A lot of runway here, so we'll think we're gonna be okay. Uh-oh. A little more rudder action. Alright, we're coming up on our takeoff speed. just had a tail strike or something. Which I don't understand because I'm not at that high of an angle. But okay. Alright, gear is up. Well, gear is coming up now. Alright, we need to turn to the right. And let's get our flaps up. And I'm gonna throttle back here. Trying to get the thrust bar out of the yellow there. Oh, we're going to be landing at night in a plane I'm not very familiar with. This unfortunately doesn't really have our flight plan in it, but I think we want to follow that green mark. And we want to get up to about 14,000 feet. We're at about 7.5 right now. The engines were very, very sluggish. So let's go into climb. Climb. There we go. About 170 here, 9,000 feet. And we're going to be pointing directly into the sun, of course, because we're good at planning. Full half needle deflection off, so we're going to try to close that gap a little better. Some weird engine sound. Let's get on around there to our proper heading. There we go. I've not figured out how to get wind yet. That's 10,000. Climb into 14. I hadn't actually planned to fly this whole thing, but that might be kind of fun. Definitely get into the bad habit of being an autopilot jockey. It's like, that's not why I got a flight simulator. I mean, I do like to learn how to use the autopilot and how all the avionics work and all that stuff. So it's not without its point, but I also like to fly. We're going to try to fly this one. Now the other thing is I do have the flight director here, so in theory I could just put my little pointer there at the flight director cross. But why is it having me turn so far that way? That doesn't make any sense. Now I don't like it. I don't trust it. Got me way off where I want to be. So that's the difference between theory and practice and practice. But we don't have to be perfect here. Coming on 13. I'm terrible at this. Okay, that's 13. So I'm going to pull just a little bit more power out. And then I'm going to get ready to nose forward here when the time comes. Power right back in, because that was way too much and too early. I need to figure out some way to think about how this works. Like, I usually just fly, you know, kind of visual, right? Okay. 13.5, 13.6, 13.7, 13.8. Let's pull that power back out now. 13.9. And I overshot by a lot and turning in a way that I don't mean to turn, and now I'm diving. Okay, I think I figured out how to at least manage my instrument here. The way I'm thinking about it is I'm moving the black thing. So if I turn to the right, the black thing goes to the right. If I turn to the left, the black thing goes to the left relative to the arrow underneath it. So like if I'm off to the right of it, I need to go to the left. I move the black thing to the left. So that seems to be working. Okay. Alright, I'm 100 feet low, so that's not good. Let's not climb too fast though. Let's trim forward, and we're going to push forward a little bit. It's way, way sensitive though. Okay, we gotta turn to the right here a little bit. We're getting far off our path. I really wish the flight director was telling me where to go. I don't understand why it isn't working. Well, let's see if we can get some flight plan in here while we're doing that. Right, not to the left, guys. Get some thrust back in. I'd let it get a little low. Again, I need to turn to the right. At this point, I need to actually turn to the right. Brick 4, right? Okay. And then, now we're way high. That sound is me using the trim. And for some reason, when you, there's our, now we're way up to the other side. Terrible, 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 terrible. We were doing Yankee now, right? Okay, I think there's our flight plan a little bit better. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what I get for looking aside here. I will get back on this. If I could get my flight director helping me out a little bit here, that would be nice. Okay, we're up at 15,000 feet now, so our next challenge is trying to hold some altitude here. I think we're basically back on our course. But now we gotta drop some altitude. I don't mind being at 15,000 feet at all. Probably be a little safer, actually. That's pretty. I just noticed it has this like little marker right here as well. I think that's your heading you're supposed to be on. It's like a little gate. All the motions seem reversed from what I want to do for some reason. I mean, it's drifting to the right. I want to go to the right. How hard should that be? What in the world just happened? What has happened? Super weird. I didn't do anything, and just kind of did that. Okay, we want to make our turn here. Now, one problem is we don't have a path here. I'm going to be flying one-handed, looking at this, trying to control things while I'm turning. I'm probably not going to do a great job. I see we're getting a little overspeed though, so we want to be careful about that. About a 30-degree turn. Let's focus on this turn a little bit. Oh, it's crashing again or something, I think. Weird. Let's make sure the yaw dampener's on here. Uh-oh. What happened? Weird. Okay, there we go. It's about our right heading, so we'll call that 140-ish, because I don't think we're getting any guidance on this right now. On our flight plan, can we do a direct to something? ETL, exec. There we go. Almost right on that plan. We're 280 feet high. You should try and do this sometime. I can fly one of these bigger planes. Smaller planes, slower planes are a little easier. Okay. And for some reason, this one doesn't have a flight path marker. I need to go a little to the right. Turn, not much. I don't know why I'm not using my trim wheel. It's much finer grained. up a little more. How we doing? Okay, so we're gonna go to this ETL here. What I'd really like to do is get ETL into my secondary nav radio. Oh my goodness. Maybe for some stuff I need to use autopilot a little bit. Let's try autopilot, altitude hold, heading hold, stop. Actually, technically I could probably use nav. Okay, so swinging us over here. All right, let's see if we can get in our secondary ILS, we want, am I typing? No. Okay, 11695, 116. So we're 40 nautical miles from that VOR. Now, I don't think there's a VOR here. So that's okay. I wonder if we could set a course though. But I don't seem to be able to, that seems to be bugged. See, like ideally there'd be a needle on here and I could turn that needle for VOR2 and see where we were. And then what I'd want to do is set it along this radial out so that I can tell where I am on that radial. So as I fly away from ETL, it'd be nice to be able to see which side of that I was on. Seem to want to let us do that. Let's just see if we can use the autopilot real quick. We want to get down to 13,000. Let's just try a vertical speed down. So for map formats, you can change it down here. Kind of got like that looking ahead one, you've got the centered one, you've got the map one. And fortunately this one can be different as well. It's like you could have your map view up here. Okay, so we did get our landing gear up. We got flaps up. We should go into cruise now. Engine bleed should be on. Boost should be off. We didn't turn engine bleed off, so it should be on. Taxi and landing lights, we could go ahead and get off if we wanted to. Need to remember to turn those on again. Altimeters, we should be checking ATIS at our destination airport. So potentially check weather. This says GD at 8 knots. We don't have an ATIS, so we'll go with that, I guess. Now, in theory, we could set FAA mode. It's going to be, might be able to actually show it better like this. So, it's right there. What it was now. 31.4. 12, 13, 14. So that's 30.14. Okay, we are 16 nautical miles out now. Let's try autopilot off. Looks like our flight director might actually be working now even. Getting some gusts, seems like. Coming up on ETL, so, oh come on, so we're going to enter at 13,000 feet. Actually, we're probably going to be way lower than that because I'm terrible at this. And then we need to descend pretty rapidly. Our ground speed is going to be pretty high, so we're going to need a pretty good descent rate. We're going to try to slow down here. So let's start slowing down. Hopefully we will get some guidance here on our little computer thingy. We're going to crash to a mountain the way I fly. Yo. let's flaps 1. And I think we need to be turning. Seems about right. Okay, now we're supposed to hold 13 until SETMA, right? So I'm gonna need to bring some power back in here. We're gonna go one more notch of flaps. We're gonna go gear down, a little more power. That's helping us hold our 13 now. Okay, there is the runway. I don't want to cover it with my cursor. Okay, a little bit more power for now, and a little bit less when we get ready to start our descent. Maybe a lot less. Okay, I'm a little high now. It's okay, less than 100 feet high, 80 feet high. Okay, and we're looking for SETMA. And we can also follow we're 4 nautical miles from our VOR, right? And we want to be 6.9 to be SETMA. So at 6.9 nautical miles out, we need to start our descent. We've also got it on our map right here. I believe that's also a little bit of a turn to the left onto a course of 96. Okay, and now we need to bring some power out and we need to start our descent. Uh-oh, we're freezing. Why are we freezing? Okay, more power out. Okay. Now we are rapidly exceeding our, where we should be here. This is a good speed right now. We're at 120. We are sort of on the glide path-ish. See if I can get lined up here a little bit better. I don't know why the flight director has us up so high. Like
approaching minimum.
This is, I believe, our glide path.
Minimum.
So we're a little below the glide path. And on the glide path. So I'm ignoring the flight director and following the glide path and localizer, GPS localizer. I'm drifting off to the left a little, so I need to go to right, but maybe not that much. Losing a little too much speed, bringing in some power. According to the PAPI lights, I'm low, but according to my glide slope, I'm a little high actually, right now. Not too much. Okay, we are getting off to this side. Oh man, why is it doing this lag thing? This has never ever happened before. Not like this. I really wish that flight director was working. We are high, and still a little to the right. I'm also not getting any wind information out of this, so we're gonna have to wing it on the wind. Whoa! And some nasty gusts. Again, PAPI lights all red, glide slope was right on. Kind of weird. I'm a little to the left of where I want to be here. Come on. It's going to be hard to land with these gusts, man. That is crazy. I think I'm going to try to go a little long on the runway here. Oh, goodness.
200, 150.
It's a good thing it's a long runway.
50.
We're going to need it.
40, 30, 20, 10.
All right, reverse thrust. Okay, thrust reversers off. Whoop, that was not fast enough. Ooh, not the prettiest landing ever. How did we land at minus at 0.9 G? A lot of times when I'm taxiing, I have to just let go of the yoke because otherwise I try to steer with it. One thing you might want to do here is check and make sure you see external power available. I do not yet. So we may not actually be as far up as we should be according to the Marshall person. Oh, that doesn't work in this plane, never mind. I forgot. In other planes, I would do that. I don't know why, but when I hold down my right mouse button, like, the lights do weird things. So what you want to do here is go to aircraft and say, give me external power. And then you should have external power, and I didn't get my landing lights on, so I fail at life. I wonder if those are the, what are those? Okay, it's not those. I don't know. So one problem I have with this plane is I am not able to cut the engines, even if I put these on. I have them all the way back. I can get them to pull back eventually, I think. Why is it not working? Well, normally it works. But, I mean, shutting off the fuel pump doesn't do it. Go ahead and turn the beacon off. Those lights are still tied to my right mouse button somehow. But the engines just won't stop running. They just keep running and running and running. And I swear I was able to get this shut off before. So weird. I should get the flaps up anyway. And we should get our weather radar off. We didn't use it. There was no weather. I wonder if on a clear night if you would even fire that up. I also don't know why, like, there's no config for these. So there's no way to set your axis to go here or whatever. I don't know if there's some special, let's see if there's some special setting we could hit. One thing I could show real quick is how I have things set up. So let's go to the throttle quadrant and show assigned, right? So, so the 7 toggle switches across the front, I switch those around. I'm not even sure what that one's still there for. What is 42? I don't think these are my settings. I wonder if that's a thing. Because I got rid of these. It's like it lost my settings. So I don't find these kinds of settings work very well. So like, shoot, I can't see anything here. Okay, so like one was spoilers, right? So if we look for that. So I have it as toggle arm spoilers when button 3 is activated. So what I do to arm spoilers is switch the button up and then back down. Um, and I think I even set these on set control on release. So you can have the switch up and it won't arm your spoilers yet. When you switch it back down, it arms the spoilers. So you toggle it up, toggle it down. Right. Now, is there anything on the other button? No. Okay. What about this one? Okay, now this one is different. I have it to APU starter normal. So as soon as I switch it up, it starts the APU. And then this one, when I switch it down, set control on release, is when it will set APU bleed to engine. So I flip that up, starts the APU, flip it down, APU bleed comes on. And that way I leave these down, which have no action on them, so that it doesn't do anything. Now that should, I don't know if there's a toggle. Yeah, there's no toggle for that. So that one's just on or off. Toggle cabin lights, so I can toggle those on or off. Toggle anti-ice. Headphone simulation on and off. That one's basically not used really. And toggle tail wheel lock is my last one. Now, do any of these have down action buttons? Let's see. So that one does not. That one does not. Headphone simulation off is it's either on or off. And that one does not. So other than that, I have like condition lever, axis, and mixture. So it's combined for planes that have condition levers versus planes that have mixtures. If I ever hit one that has both, I might have to change it. And then I've got 2 axes for propeller. And oddly enough, in this ATR, propeller is the axis that actually controls the the condition lever in kind of a weird way. Now the throttles I have set up very weirdly. First of all, they're backwards. So I know it's terrible. I have engine 2 on throttle axis 1 and engine 1 on throttle axis 2, but I'm just the levers, right? It's still going to be the left one is engine 1, the right one is engine 2, but the reason I have them swapped is because the second axis on the Bravo has 2 buttons on it. The first axis can only have 1 button. So in a normal general aviation setting, you have the very first axis is your first throttle and has a takeoff go around button on it. I'm using the commercial Boeing style lever on the first one. But the first engine lever has 2 quote unquote buttons on it, right? One is the reverse thrust one, which is actually a button and it does this. So if I pull that up, it enables reverse thrust. Okay, if I pull the first one up, it toggles takeoff go around. And then I have another button on the second one. This is 29. I have another button that I can use on that one. So, but if I put this one on the first one, then I only have the 129. So I can either hit the little red button, that's joystick button 29, on the second throttle to enable takeoff go around, or I can pull the reverse thrust lever up on the first one to toggle it. And I could map those other things if I wanted to. The problem is there's no way to toggle reverse thrust per engine, right? What is it? Reverse, right? There's only, oh, sorry, I've got it filtered to assigned. But it needs to have one per engine so that I can, if I pull them both up, it'll toggle reverse thrust. So, but as it is, basically, I just pull the second one up to reverse thrust. There's also this button, which is when you, that one's not mapped to anything. That's the right throttle. When I pull it all the way back, it doesn't do anything, right? Oops. Oh, well, that's annoying. The first throttle, the left one, when I do it, it does, come on. It's going to also toggle reverse thrust. And then on release, it's going to set back to idle. So if reverse thrust will work, I can just pull both levers all the way back and it'll go into reverse thrust. Only the leftmost one really does anything. So I really just need to pull the first one back. That's that 24 right there. So that's why I have two buttons on these. This one, which is 24, and then this one, which is, I think, the 20, is it, what is it? 9. So this should be joystick button 9, I believe. If I click it here, it should be doing 9. Huh, this is all messed up. I don't know why this is scrolling 35, 35, 35, 35. Kind of weird. Anyway, so I use the flaps up down lever instead of, I don't have a flaps axis like some people do. And that way this setup seems to work pretty well for almost all the planes I've flown, from little planes, you know, single engine GA all the way up to twin engine jet. And presumably you could, if you doubled up your axes for your throttles, you could, or you could make the condition levers be like engines, you know, whatever, 3 and 4, if you were using it on a quad engine plane or something. That way I don't have to switch out the levers and everything all the time. I do wish it had more buttons. I wish every axis could have 3 buttons on it, or at least 2. So you could put things anywhere you wanted. So I'd really rather have the one labeled with the extra, you know, with 2 buttons on it on the first axis, but you can't do that. It just doesn't have the wiring for it. And it's got some autopilot controls as well. And I've used the altitude one a little bit. So like it has a generic plus or minus control. And that's going to plus or minus whatever is currently selected. And you can select things like you can select the VSI bug, or you can select the altitude bug, right? So there's a dial that you select altitude, vertical speed, heading, or whatever. So you set that, and then you change the plus minus, and it changes it on there. And then also you've got the autopilot functions like autopilot on off. So it has a button for that. But I tend to do that over here on my yoke, right? So I have this button right here is toggle autopilot master. I don't have anything on the front trigger button because I use it for talking on the radio. Then you've got this kind of generic like activate things button. I'm using. The red one is mapped to that by default. I've left that so far. And then there's this button, which is if you're doing missions, you could quick reply. And then these are all mapped kind of the way they come, although I think I've done it a little bit, and I think I'm going to change it around even more. Because again, it does not work very well. So like if we look at this, it's set beacon, so I added set recognition lights. It doesn't come with that. And I called it PC12, but it's the only one I've really created. So I don't really quite understand how that one works. I was trying to remember. Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. So the reason that works is because if we look at the properties on here, so when the switch is up, 21 is on. When the switch is down, 21 is off. Now 22 comes on, right? But 21 is on off already, so you can use it to just map to what is it? There we go. So set, right? So when it's on, the beacon lights are on. When it's off, the beacon lights are off. And when my switch is down, it does nothing, right? Because there's no action on the downside. But because this button is released, it's going to turn off beacon and recognition lights. And I think, yeah, set landing lights is next, set taxi lights, nav wing logo. I added wing and logo, and then set strobes is the last one. I think that's how it comes. And I think on all of these, there's nothing on the bottom selector. You could. Oh, nope, this one does. So when I go down, landing lights will go up and get turned off as well. On that one, I added those too. Nothing on the other ones. And then these ones are just on and off buttons. So 20. So that's off and then on, off and on. Nothing on the bottom of that one. Set master battery is up. And then the very first switch, these are backwards, by the way. These two are red and these two are white. Wait, what happened? Set alternator. That's weird. I think these are set wrong. I think if anything, set alternator should be on this one. But set battery master should be on this first one. Right, and then are there any other battery ones? I guess I could do I wonder if I should do all 4 batteries. I don't know. I don't know what that would do. But now we've got, well, I don't know. Battery master on. I wonder if there's anything. I don't think there's anything for generator either. Yeah. We're missing some stuff. And then avionics. I can probably put some other things on there. I just haven't figured out good things to put. So we got set alternator now, and we swapped those around. I like that better. Leftmost one is battery on. Second one's alternator on. APU stuff is over on my throttle side. I could also do toggle so that I go up and down, up and down. The nice thing about that is when it's down and you lose power, it's not going to cycle your power off. I've had that happen a lot. I'm actually kind of thinking about switching it. Let's try that. So what we want instead is toggle master battery. And then this one will be toggle X alternator. Although I could combine those and free up a switch. I could also toggle external power. What else we got? Electrical line connection, electrical line breaker. I'll get rid of that one. Now I can leave these down and it won't change battery alternator unless I toggle them up and back down. I wonder if I can do the same for the, what are they? Avionics? Is there a toggle avionics? Toggle avionics master, but there's not separate ones and twos. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. I could also do this one that way. Well, no, that doesn't work either. Let's try it. I now have a switch free that I could do something else with. Um, don't know what that is. Alpha flight controls, properties. It only goes to 32. There's no 35. Oh, I bet. I think I know what that is. There's it's almost like a key switch. Yeah, that's it, 35. That's for like your Cessna type engines. And then like, that one's gonna be magneto's left, magneto's right, and then off. Magneto's off. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see if there's anything else we could toggle. Toggle. There's a lot of toggles. I guess I could do something like that. External power, maybe. I could make it be pause. Yeah, I'm not seeing any good choices right now. I think there, wow. Let's try this one. And then we'll do it on release. I think that did nothing. Or if there's some way to shut off all the fuel. That's as good as we can get, right? Let's do it on release 2. I did something, but like it's shutting down the engine and it didn't shut off these fuel valves. But I didn't see any fuel pumps. I think it should have tried to shut down the engines. It's still going. So like if I do Control Shift E, right, same thing. It doesn't actually shut down. It's that same thing with the lights. When I right mouse button, so weird those won't go down now. They were going down before though and not actually shutting off the engine, so not that it matters. But yeah, still having that problem. Just won't shut down. Anyway, that's the ATR as best as I know it. So I did get the Aviator pack, so there's a bunch of interesting stuff to fly now. But it all's tagged with 2020. I think they didn't even bother to update the tag. Got someone out there. I just kind of want to flip through some of these new planes and see what they look like inside. Some of them I might want to fly. So my initial impressions with the honeycomb equipment is the rudders are okay, but I don't think they're that great. They work reasonably well though. The yoke is okay. Both of those have, you know, pretty fine-grained sensitivity, which is kind of nice. They're not as herky-jerky as my other stuff was. The throttle quadrant I'm very happy with, I think. Like I say, I mean, there's a few things I would think to do with it. One is make it so all 6 axes could have 2 buttons, and maybe put buttons in everything. Like one, like have at least one button, like even on the props and the condition levers, just so you can map them to other things and have them, you know, be handy. You know, the Boeing thrust levers are kind of cute. It would be really nice if the reverse thrust was an actual axis on here. So when you drop down past that detent, you had an axis for reverse thrust instead of just a button that's on or off, because that's really what it is. That's okay though. What I can do though is if I toggle reverse thrust, then I push the power up for reverse thrust, and then I get my fine grain axis of reverse thrust axis, which is how I have it all set up. I can do either one. On some planes, I'll just drop it down and I'll drop it into reverse thrust, you know, like max reverse thrust immediately. And other ones, what I want to do is pull that lever up to toggle into reverse thrust, and push the levers forward so I get more fine-grained reverse thrust. Ooh, this is a clunker. And I'm getting 14 frames a second in this beauty. And it died. Probably because all my switches are off. I have to figure out why that mouse button is changing things, or file a bug or something. Ah, that's the problem. The magnetos were off. I was turning the magnetos off. Okay, we got prop RPM, we got mixture, we got dual axis. That's reverse thrust apparently, but do we have reverse thrust? Yes, we do have reverse thrust. Landing gear. It's gonna stay running this time. Is a Garmin in here? What? Let's just see what happens if we go. Uh-oh. Oh. Switching on and off constantly, which is kind of weird. Uh-oh. Pretty crazy to have to restart the engine on. Ah. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna look for this channel here between these buildings to kind of try to line up with something. Oh, where's our airspeed? This has trim. I haven't actually flown around out here. Paid any attention anyway. I don't think I've flown out of this airport. Kind of an interesting looking bridge over here. I didn't get gear laps up or anything. Can we look to the side? Yes, we can, but we can't see anything. I have no idea where the airport is. Oh, great. Okay. I think we're missing it though. Oh, there we go. There's a runway. I really have no airspeed indicator though that I can tell. Way low here, not paying attention. So that's like VOR, turn indicator, some kind of heading. Altitude. Where's my airspeed? Is that airspeed maybe? I guess that's airspeed. I don't know what my airspeed is. 100 knots? See if we can just cruise along here until we stall. Oh, that was hard. And then reverse thrust. Or death. Oh, I know what it is. So, because it killed the propeller, right? So when I do reverse thrust, prop decrease, that's the problem. Brakes. So I'm gonna need another profile for, well, I don't know what you should do with the props on this. So you do landing lights work? Landing lights. Taxi. I don't know what those are. I need to change the way those work though. I don't know, kind of funky. I need to figure out this whole throttle thing. Why did that split? Look how that's weirdly split. I have a whole axis for it. It's not changing it. Now it is. Now they work. I think that's a bug, man. That one's gonna require a little care, I think. I think these may be new. I don't remember. I think anything with a 2020 here is gonna be the new ones. This monster, 6 engines. Some of these old planes might be kind of fun a little bit. I think this one's new. These are. Bell 47. Oh, I have not flown a helicopter with the yoke yet. I wonder if is it gonna die too? This is not good place. Okay. Yeah, there's no way. I just want to see what'll happen here. What happens if I use mine? Okay. That is a very unstable helicopter. So that's with my old flight controls now. That doesn't fly very well, I don't think. It's probably me. Probably a skill issue, but yeah. Boeing 307. Wow. Everything's on that one. Did it die? Yeah, it died. So I think to make that one work, I'd have to add extra axes. For the throttles, or else I don't have any throttle control. Okay, so if I think what I'd want to do is map 1 and 4 the same. So throttle 1 axis goes to throttle 4 axis. And then throttle 3 axis would get that one. So the throttle 1 is the 2 outer engines and throttle 2 is the 2 inner engines. Now, I mean, obviously it'd be better to have 4, but and I think these are for coming out of reverse thrust, so I'll leave those off for now, just see if it works. What? Okay, I know what that is. So I think this has to be inverted, maybe? Yeah. And 2 and 3 is inverted. What are these? Why are there extra throttles? Oh, okay, prop. Mixture's all weird. Tail wheel lock. Lock. Carpeets. Autopilot. Yeah, right. Okay, let's do. I mean, we're gonna have to do the same with like. Okay, so 1 and 4, right? 4 and 3 axis. And then mixtures. Let's just do mixture. So, oh man. Okay, mixture 1 and 4. And are these inverted? Yes, they are. I need to check the other ones too. Inverted. Inverted. I should have checked first. Okay. Other than these freaking out on me here. That's working. Buzz the tower. web flaps? I think we do, yeah. Gear is real slow to come down. This, my airspeed is hiding behind it. I still don't have 4 greens on the gear. These are flashing. Guessing that's down. Is that even the runway? I don't think that's the runway. Nope. We're landing on it anyway. Why don't I have any steering whatsoever? I have no steering and no brakes. Like none. But the tail wheel was not locked. Oh, it was locked? Okay, fine. That says lock. I thought that was locked, unlocked. Okay, fine. Why does it struggle like that? Be in one state or the other? Weird. I don't know, these 2020 aircraft are kind of sketchy. Kind of feeling a little bit ripped off. 707. These were okay. This one I bought separately. Oh, this might be kind of fun. Huh. Another big tail dragger. I'm not big on the tail draggers. This thing is like a monster. I gotta spawn into it just to see what, like. Do we have a seaport somewhere? You know what? Let's just say, let's do custom, set as departure, ready for takeoff. it's gonna just start and looks like a boat. Is it the boat that they put a wing and some? Won't even get started. They seem to all have issues with the way switches work in 2024. There's a lot of these old crazy planes. Yikes. Oh, the MU2 I kind of wanted to try out. Throttle, seem okay. Reverse thrust isn't going to work, but it's going to kill it. Wait for the panels to load in. Hoping that just means it's idling down after starting. Sounded like it was dying. Is rotate. Whoa. Okay, gear up. Guess that's flaps up. And we're crashing. Probably shouldn't have pulled the flaps up so soon. Pretty spunky. look like the kind of plane you want to fly in a hurricane. Okay, where's our runway here? Okay, seems to me like this lines up with that. Okay. This angle here. Up there somewhere. I think I see it over to the right. Vertical speed, there we go. It's doing something weird. Thrust because it's not set up for it. We didn't need to, so. Pretty stable. Okay, that's not bad. Not the best plane ever, but it ran at least. And of course our forever favorites, and then some little Saab, another funky float plane, short SC7, that might be kind of interesting. And another helicopter. Let's try this one and then go on to other activities. Oh, come on. thank you, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, I'm thinking maybe I should call it a night there. I gotta go do some other stuff too. So I will catch y'all later. Let's look at some of the Aviator package planes. You were interested.